This is the GamaKay LK67, a 65% pre-built keyboard with a knob at the top right corner. Now, what makes this keyboard particularly interesting is the fact that it is affordable and it also has some modding potential. However, it does have some shortcomings that you typically find on a pre-built keyboard. But if you're willing to put in the work, this is a great starting point in the keyboard hobby. Anyway, this is our review of the LK67. Okay, so just how affordable is the LK67? Well, right now on Banggood, at the time of this video's recording, it's retailing at $60 US, which comes out to about 250 ringgit. Without a doubt, this is a very affordable price point for such a keyboard. To recap, this is a 65% keyboard with a knob at the top right corner that you can use to control the volume. The knob itself can also be clicked to pause and play media, which is quite a neat touch. Aside from that, it also has a hot swap PCB with north-facing LED. So with some cherry profile keycaps, for example, you may have some interference issues with certain switches. But nowadays, there are a lot of switches that don't suffer from this problem anymore, such as the Anubis that we have on this keyboard right now, thanks to its longer stem pole. But one particular hardware of the LK67 that may not appeal to many folks is the fact that it is using plate-mounted stabilizers. Compared to PCB-mounted stabilizers, which are far more popular, these plate-mounted stabs are not quite as stable. But with some proper modding and tuning, they can still sound very good. Alright, now let's talk about the positives of the LK67, starting with its sound profile, which is surprisingly talky. This is thanks to its mostly plastic construction, including the top and bottom case. It also has a metal plate of sorts, though we do suspect it is aluminium, but it wasn't mentioned anywhere in the spec sheet, unfortunately enough. Anyway, this combination of parts do make for a talky sound profile, and you can listen to the sound test at the end of this video to find out for yourself. Aside from that, the LK67 also has a stiff, firm typing experience, which is not necessarily a bad thing. If that is exactly what you look for in a keyboard, then you will find the LK67 quite a pleasant keyboard to type on. The stiff typing experience of the LK67 is due to the fact that it uses a tray mount system, a mounting style that is typically found in pre-built keyboards. One more feature of the LK67 that I really quite like is the fact that it has a knob at the top right corner. I mean, it's really convenient to just use this to control the volume, and if I want to pause the music that I'm playing right now, I can just click on it and that's it. In my opinion, the knob also fits the aesthetics of the LK67. It doesn't look out of place, and it works really well with these DAGK Rosemary keycaps that we also got from Banggood, along with the LK67. Personally, I don't find this a plus point, but if you do like RGB lighting, you'll be happy to know that this LK67 has RGB practically throughout the keyboard. So if that's your thing, you'll like the LK67. Now, let's talk about the negatives of the LK67, starting with its sound profile. Again, though it does have a talky sound profile, I mean potential to be very talky, the keyboard itself also sounds very plasticky. Again, this can be attributed to the mostly plastic construction of this keyboard, but besides that, the tray mounting system also transfers a lot of vibration to the case, so you just get all of this plasticky sound. And then there's the build quality of the LK67. I mean, it's unavoidable because of just how affordable this keyboard is. But it does bother me a little bit, like I can just pick it up, and if I apply too much pressure, you can hear the plastic case creaking, which does not inspire confidence at all. But to be fair, most folks would just place the keyboard on the table and occasionally bring it around, so it's not great that it doesn't have fantastic build quality, but hey, this is just a $60 keyboard here. So in conclusion, is the GamaKay LK67 worth considering? Yes, if you're willing to put in the work as I've mentioned earlier on. The keyboard itself definitely has the potential to be talky, but you do have to do some modding to eliminate the hollowness and the plasticky sound profile of this keyboard. There are a few mods that you can do to achieve this talky sound profile, such as tape mod or put in a sheet of PE foam in between the switches as well as the PCB. I'm sure some of you guys are thinking the plate-mounted stabilizers of the LK67 automatically make it a bad keyboard, but that is really not the case here. Even in its stock form, these tabs perform quite well. It does manage to reduce some of the rattling thanks to the factory lubing, but you can hear a little bit of the wire ticking still. However, as I've mentioned before, put in the work, you loop the housing of the stabs, loop the wire with some Krytox 205 grade 0, and you will have stabilizers that are nice and quiet without the rattling. Anyway, we always want to hear how good a keyboard sounds first before we purchase them. So let's get to the sound test of this keyboard after I explain the parts that we've used for the LK67. It is left completely stock in the sense that I did not tune the stabs at all, and the switches that we've used for this are Anubis switches, also in its stock form. Combined with this DAGK Rosemary dice-up PBT keycap set, the LK67 really does have talk potential. Anyway, I've talked long enough, so if you're interested to purchase this keyboard or this keycap set, you can head over to Banggood.com. Like this video if you like it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and enjoy this sound test of the LK67.